Hi, welcome. Now we're going to go through how to set up Hopsworks for AWS in a managed version of Hopsworks. You go to this particular URL, hopsworks.ai, and then you can click and get Hopsworks set up on Amazon Web Services. So what we can see here in the middle is a big button, Try for Free. You can click that to get started, and what it will do is it will launch Hopsworks Cloud Community Edition in your AWS account. So I'm going to click on the button here. Pretty standard stuff here. You just fill in the form. I've obviously done this already, so I'm going to sign in. Click on the sign in button at the bottom. And once you sign in, you'll be asked to configure your AWS account details. Now, I've already run this, so I'm going to have to go through it again to show you the web page that you will land on once you actually sign in for the first time. So I click on this button down here, Update, and this is the default landing page you will end up on. So in this particular page, you can see there's some instructions we need to go through to set up your Hopsworks account on your particular Amazon account. And you can see there's 3 steps. The first one is to create a cross-account role on your account. And then you're going to add an inline policy to the cross-account role that you have created. And thirdly, you're going to then store the cross-account role in here. You're going to paste that A or N in here, in that box, text box. So to do this, I need to follow the instructions, and I'm going to try and read them here. So it says in the AWS Management Console, you want to create a role. And I click on this link to bring me there. Let's see if I'm already logged in. Yes, I am. So at this point, you may have to log into your account on AWS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the instructions, fill in the form. I'm going to fill in the account ID, and then it says require external ID checked. So firstly, I'll fill in the account ID. I'm going to copy it on our page here, and this is the account ID we can see here on the AWS page. So I'll go back and see with number 2, require external ID should be checked. Okay, let's go back and do that. So we have required external ID here. That checkbox should be ticked. Okay, so if we go back, the third step is the external ID. So what this is going to do is, in fact, allow Hopsworks Cloud to start a virtual machine in your account. So it's going to give the external ID of the Logical Clocks Amazon account. That's our account. And then finally, we'll see the fourth instruction is to require multi-factor authentication, and it says keep unchecked. So I will not check this box here. So that's the basic steps to start, and then I go through permissions, next tags, review, and then name the role and create it, but do not add a policy yet. The new role will be in a list displayed. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Next tags, and then next review, and then I need to give a name to the role. So my name is Jim, and this is February the 11th. So I'm going to just do that, Jim, February 11th. I'm going to click on Create Role. Okay, so I created that role. You can see we have lots of roles here. So I'm just going to look at the one that I created for February the 11th. That's this particular role here. So we can see the role has been created correctly. The next step, number 2, is to add an inline policy. So it says click on the role you just created and add an inline policy from a JSON. So this is the inline policy here. It says paste the following snippet. So I'm going to go into the role page, then the permissions tab, add an inline policy, and the JSON tab. So let's try and do that. So I copied that JSON now. It's in my buffer. And I click on, this is the role. So I'm going to click on the role that I created. And what we can see down here on the right is there's a section called Add Inline Policy. So I'm going to click that. And there's a tab here called JSON. So I need to click on the JSON tab. I'm just going to replace this text, press Control A, Control V. And now we've replaced that JSON text with the policy from the Hopsworks Cloud platform. And then it says you need to give a name to this policy. So I'll call it again Hopsworks Feb 11. Okay, so now you can see I'm back to my role, which is Jim February 11th, and we've attached a policy called Hopsworks-Feb 11th. It's an inline policy, the JSON policy. You can click it here to see the details of it. And we can see up here there's this role ARN. I'm going to copy that because I know that when I go back to Hopsworks Cloud, that the last step is that I want to store the cross-account role ARN. So you want to paste this role ARN that we have for the role. I'll paste it in here, and then I can click on configure. So that was the last step. I can show you that again. This was the role ARN up here. We can copy it here, and I paste that in. So now I've actually configured my account to run an instance. So if I click on run an instance, I now need to pick a location. So I'm going to pick a location, Europe, London. And there's a bunch of different instance types. I don't have enough money to run the big one, so I'm just going to run the standard. And you can see there's a lot more advanced options here. So we can see here that I can select my SSH key. I can select an instance profile. I'm going to select one called HopsFS S3 access. And if you want to launch it inside of an existing VPC, you can do that, or you can create a new one. I'm just going to create a new VPC. Sometimes you might want to launch inside an existing VPC if you're a Databricks customer. And if you launch this cluster inside your Databricks VPC, Databricks will be able to run Spark jobs that write directly to the feature store in Hopsworks. So I'm going to click on deploy now, and we can see that it's starting to set up the Hopsworks Cloud instance. There will be a bunch of steps that need to be executed here. We need to allocate the machine, spin up the virtual machine. There's an AMI that includes all of the Hopsworks instances on it, and then we need to configure those particular services. So this is going to take a few minutes, maybe up to 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to let this run, and then when it finishes, we'll log into our Hopsworks instance. Now our instance has started. We can see that there's 3 different boxes that have appeared. The first one is the link to the actual instance, and then we have our login credentials, my email, and also then the password that was automatically generated for me. So I click on the link to the instance, and we can see it pops it up there. I'm going to fill in the credentials, and then we'll copy the password and press login, and there we go. So now I've logged into the instance. This is what Hopsworks looks like when you get started. There are a bunch of tours here, 1, 2, 3, 4, deep learning, feature store, Spark, and Kafka tours to get you started. I recommend that you click on one of those to get you started. There are other videos you can look at to see how to actually use Hopsworks. But just to finish off, I'll show you some of the other features in Hopsworks Cloud. We can see here that we're actually able to stop our instance by pressing the stop button. And we can also terminate our instance. In this case, you will lose the data that's on your instance if you terminate it, unless you're saving your data, of course, to S3, where it will stay available. So that concludes this presentation, and follow up on upcoming videos to see how to get started on Hopsworks itself. Thank you.